This week was a lot. Um, I was very busy at work, and then I had a very busy weekend, and I had to say bye to one of my pets in the beginning of the week. So that was a good start to the week. Um, so a lot of like during the week I was kind of like prematurely giving myself the grace to not make a video for this week or work on any of my other animation ideas since I had so much to do. But now that it's Sunday, I have this like feeling of disappointment. And I think it was because it felt like work took over my life so much. Like I just felt, and not so much like the fun things or anything, but like the fact, like, I don't want to say because it felt like I let myself down, but a little bit like I left myself down. And then ironically coming back to like, you have to give yourself the grace that you didn't get to it. Like you had a lot. And you did post a animation for this week. Like you're okay. But I think I also fell off because like in a previous video, this stuff is kind of like my therapy and I haven't really been like all week because I was so slammed with work and constantly going. I just felt like disconnected from myself. So like by the end of the week now, I'm like I didn't even still have my moment to myself, and these videos are like that promise to myself and that consistent routine and that check-in and that therapy session for myself. So I think because I was literally missing it, it wasn't that I was like I can give myself the grace that I didn't get to it, but it was more like no, it's needed. It's essential to you now. And you feel off because you didn't get to have that time with yourself. And the theme of this week, really, a lot of it was balancing me and my work and the requirements for work. And especially with grieving the loss of my pet, there was more required for me to take care of me, right? And I had to really balance out stuff and be aware that I was balancing out routines and things. And for example, like, I have a specific hair routine or something when I go to wash my hair, and I wasn't, I said to myself, I'm not going to alter this and make it less than because I have so much work to do this week. Because it's for me, and I would be disappointed by the end of the week if I didn't get to this, and I would have more resentment towards my job if I didn't get to these things for myself. And I don't want to have that. I don't want to have that feeling. And the other element, I think if it was other work that I was doing for myself or creative work, I wouldn't have felt that bad altering my routine. But because it was work, it felt very imbalanced. So I was like, I'm going to do this for myself and make sure I do this for myself. And I'm going to like work from home a couple of days because I can and have like privacy. So I can have privacy to like grieve my pet. Like I'm still doing work. I still did more than I probably should have. But I push myself, right? I push myself because I don't want we have, I know it's society and know it's an expectation that we push ourselves like that a lot of the time. And honestly, if I had gone up to a coworker and told them what was going on, they would have understood and helped me. But I just kept going. And I needed to. Like, I think there's also a point of pride a little bit in that too, when you think about it, that I was like, no, all this stuff I was going through and I still got this work stuff done. But, I don't feel great. At least I know work is in a decent position. And I think it comes down also to like the path of least resistance then for me is to keep doing this job, even though I know I feel it shifting and changing and me coming out of it. I know I want to still have this job right now because it's giving me the stability that I would like to have. And I think I would be more stressed if I didn't have it. That's how I feel right now. That could change. And you have to be patient, right? Like some weeks are like this. But I think there is a difference between taking on this week and looking at it and letting the stress consume you versus navigating it and learning to still balance your everyday life and the requirements for you with this job or with whatever in your life is being required of you to do that isn't typical. How are you going to navigate it? How are you going to handle it? Because you probably can handle it better than you think. And if you can't, then you give yourself the grace and not feel upset about that. And I kind of like was on the fence about either one. It seemed like I really wanted to challenge I think I was in for the challenge this week to be like, okay, I'm going to take care of myself and also get this work done. And I'm going to be okay with whatever I get done on either end at the end of it. There was like an intention behind each thing, an intention behind work and making sure that the quality was still good, and an intention behind making sure that I got to all the things I wanted to do for myself and not alter them because I was worried about timing, or I took away some time for a different thing in my life, just to make it work. And had to be okay with that. I guess ultimately the point of this that I want to get across is that, and so my priorities were balanced, and I tried to keep them balanced as much as possible, keeping promises to myself that I did. Keeping these promises to myself, by the end of the week, I did have like a better mindset and a better mood because of it. I was more empowered because I felt like I had more control when I was aware of it and the intention behind these things. And ultimately, I think what I want to get across here was this idea of me being in this position of control, or at least more control than I would have typically looked at, versus a position of a victim. And I don't want to keep thinking like I'm this victim in this job and keep up this resentment towards it. That's not gonna help me shift out of this. And there's a difference too between like me pretending that nothing is wrong and going to work and being like, no, I'm fine. I'm not a victim here. Like, just keep going. Versus like, no, I'm shifting out of this. I know I am. I'm not liking certain elements of this. I'm going to keep aware of the things that I do like and try to focus on them more. But at the end of it, like, I know I'm working towards coming out of it. And I would need to do that regardless, to shift out of this the way I want to, because I don't want to burn a bridge, and I don't want it to be like I'm leaving because I'm mad and I'm angry and I'm resentful that this thing took up so much of my time. Meanwhile, I'm completely missing the cool drawings that I still get to do every now and then. Yeah, it's been a while, but this week I got to do some cool drawings that I've been wanting to do. And even when it doesn't seem like a good week, I'm learning how to work with people who are pretty difficult to work with. And no, or that shows me that like, hey, I kind of want to do a job more to myself and have my own business or do freelance work. Regardless, you're probably going to be working with other people a lot. And this is preparing me for whatever type of personality I come across. Because let me tell you, oh my God, I'm not going to get into it, but these people, like, I really do feel like I'm being tested lately. But everybody's stressed, right? And you go with grace and you're like, all right, you're stressed out. It's fine. I just need to keep going. So I know this way I won't be leaving because of this anger and resentment, because I don't want to look back at it like that. But I'll be leaving because I want to and because I have control over that decision and because I'm ready and excited to explore the next thing. So I just keep reminding myself that and I keep going. And hopefully this week is better. But if not, I know I have the ability to navigate it.